Good evening, and it's such a lovely evening here in Goa. I'm sure all of us want to step out and go to the beach. So we will ensure that our panel discussion gets done in time. Without further delay, the topic we are going to discuss today is about collaboration. And how can we use collaboration as a tool to fasten digital transformation? We have eminent people on the panel who will be sharing their thoughts with us. And I would like to start with Mahender ji, aapse shuru karte hain. So, collaboration is very important, and fintech is an industry which is in its nascent stage, and we are going to see for a long time to come, we are going to see a lot of growth in this industry. So how do you think the traditional banks and the new age fintechs can come together and collaborate for digital transformation? And if you share some examples, that would be nice.
Sure. Thank you for having me on the panel. I think before we get into collab.
Your mic is working. Are you able to hear him?
Is it audible, guys? Okay. So I think before we get into saying this the whole collaboration piece, I think what has happened is in terms of the whole bank and fintech coexisting, I think there has been certain misunderstanding or certain kind of an environment which gets created where there was a perception where people thought fintechs are going to replace the banks, right? Which I think is absolutely wrong. That's not going to happen. I think in today's day and age, both banks and fintechs are going to coexist in the ecosystem. I think fintechs play a very, very important role, and that we see at Unity Small Finance Bank as well. I think what they bring to the table is agility. What they bring to the table is speed to market, right? And I think what traditional banks or any bank, because when we say a bank, whether it's a private bank, foreign bank, or any bank, it's a regulated entity by RBI, right? What they bring to the table is the whole regulatory framework and the fact that they underwrite, the process or the framework they need to follow. So I think it's important for the industry to understand both these fintech as well as bank has to coexist. They do bring specific value to the table, right? At the end of the day, it's going to benefit the customer, right? When we look at a traditional bank releasing new product, right? The amount of time which they take compared to a fintech, I think there is no comparison, right? That's one. And I think if we talk about a few examples, I'd like to give it from, what we are doing with fintech. So we are launching at least 4 different credit cards with fintech partnership, right? Again, don't want to take any names here. Number one. And we are also doing a lot of partnership with fintech at multiple levels, at a product level, as well as certain amount of work around AI and Gen AI. So I think this collaboration is going to be more and more deeper in nature and at multiple levels, and not just only from a perspective where fintech is going to acquire the customer while bank will play the role of a traditional bank is my 2 cents.
I think very well articulated. They are collaborators and not competitors. That's the message, key message from your, discussion. And Shiv, may I know your views?
Good afternoon, everyone. So, coming to my views, I think in BFSI sector, predominantly on credit sharing is the key of it for sanctioning the loans. And apart from the regular approach of going through the CIBIL and all the other stuff, things of social proofing also has come into place, and multiple data analytics of the limited amount of data has been exposed more. New to credit model is something evolving because a lot of the people doesn't have credit history, and that has to be unlocked. Where people, not just for the banking sector, but they have been building up the products on the fintech space, and there is a good amount of collaboration is what I see there. And secondly, where I can see is something on co-lending model. You know that there's a co-lending which has kicked in place, and earlier there was securitization, and for the co-lending approach, there's a lot of potential for the fintechs to lend, but however they will not have the capital, whereas the banking sector needs to have that better reach and agility. So it's an better match, blend of best of both the worlds, and where this marriage happens from the co-lending model. These are two examples which I actually see that will help in this space.
I think Shiv, co-lending is the term which has which has formalized this collaboration between traditional players and new age players. And Vivek, you are the data expert on the panel. So we see that the traditional banks have a lot of data about the customer, because they have been, the relationship between customers and traditional banks is a long one. Some of the account holders have accounts for more than 30 years, so they know a lot about their customers, whereas they do not have the required technology or the talent to leverage this data or monetize this data. How do you think that collaboration between fintechs and traditional banks will help the industry as such to use this data and create relevant customer solutions, products and services?
Of course, that's everyone think that bank have a lot of data of customer. Still, they are not leveraging. But yes, bank have a data of a customers. But like in my previous panel discussions, also I mentioned that data resides in a silos. Some part of a data and customer information is some other department, and then other departments, and then there's no place where the data is coming from all these silos and sitting at one place, and then we can create some customer one view. And if it's created also for the CRM, it is half-baked. What we like, if you can see if you all people have seen the James Bond movie where you can just type a name of a criminal and you get everything about the customer. That kind of information we require to enhance that customer data and to leverage analytics and data science and technology about that. Challenge because of these legacy systems around that, data resides in the silos, and then you don't have exposure for technology. As a bank, we are not a technology company. We need to understand that we should go hands in hand with the fintech. Fintech is not going to be a bank anytime. So, but of course, we need some technology partner who can help us to leverage these new technologies, AI, ML, and data science, and we can enhance our customer data for proper upsell, cross-sell, where no duplicate calls going to customers. We can think that which product is good for customer and what is the right time to pitch the product to a customer. Yeah, of course, nowadays, with the help of fintech, we are doing something around that, but that is also not up to the par. So what my suggestion that we should not think about that fintech can take over the technology and then they can start running their own bank. That will not going to happen. We need to take their help. We should not to be a technology company. We have to think that someone is there who can help us use their expertise and then come into the market with some new products, new technology, and it definitely will going to help you on our customer experience side.
Thank you, Vivek. And I think the points you made was very pertinent, that the core, the core of the banking is they understand their customers and they should do that. And obviously, when they collaborate with technology companies, it will help them to use the data which are residing in silos to be leveraged for product innovation.
But nowadays, we are collaborating for course, for the AI, ML, and for data science, we are definitely going to the partners and they are helping us. So you can see if on our credit cards also, we can send you, if you are at some particular location, we send you some geolocation offers. Also for the upsell, cross-sells, you can see at your applications also, you can see that for which product you are already eligible inside the bank. Most of the time, you go for any loan in the market, and if you try to take a debt loan from some other bank, and which is not your customer of that, immediately your bank people can call you. So these are the AI where once you approach any bank for any product, the real-time trigger comes to me. I share it with immediately on your RM, relationship manager, and they immediately call you, ma'am, please take it from me. If they are offering you at a 7%, I can give you 6% and you don't have to go through our documentation process. So number of things are going on. Credit card also we are offering as per your requirement. We know that my customer, ex-customer is a foodie kind of person. I can offer him a easy diner or some dining related card to them. If I know my customer is more traveler, I try to pitch them the card which can help them to booking a tickets. They can get some discounts, hotels also, flights also. So already these kind of things, bank also trying to taking from the fintech and implementing it.
Thank you. I think those examples were, very helpful to understand the, collaboration bit. And Mahender, coming back to you, since you are a small finance company and, financial
Small finance bank.
Small finance bank, and financial inclusion is a big thing. And technology has played a very important role in financial inclusion, and digital processes have been leveraged to achieve this last mile connectivity. Would like to know from you with some examples of digital processes which has helped financial inclusion.
I think it's a great question. I think last 2 days, if we look at this event, right, some words that has been used: AI, Gen AI, data analytics, so on and so forth, right? I think what has happened is, if you look at the customer journey, right, because of the technology, data analytics, a lot of those journeys which were physical in nature have been moved to the digital arena, right? But does that mean that the physical branches has no role to play? The answer is a big no. If you look at the last 3 months news, right, again, not taking names, the top 4 private banks in India all have announced branches to be added in FY 24-25. Some are planning to add 10,000 branches, some are planning to add 5,000 branches, right? So I think the role of a branch will continue to stay relevant, which is the physical model, and the digital model will enable of how journeys can be moved from physical to digital, whatever is possible. Now, very elementary part is, some of the journeys are not possible to be moved to digital. A very simple example is a locker. If a customer wants a locker service, he has to go to a branch. You cannot have we have digit locker, but the actual bank locker has to have a physical place, right? Number one. Number two, I think a great example of whole physical and digital is video KYC. Just look at the fact, 10 years back, video KYC didn't exist in India. Today, we have a video KYC process where the customer doesn't have to visit a branch, or a bank employee doesn't have to visit a customer's location to do a KYC process. It can all happen digitally with the help of video KYC, right? Now, this is how I think the evolution is going to happen, where the digital and physical will continue to stay relevant. And depending upon, and just to add, another factor is, if you look at the cohorts on a banking space, right? What are the different cohorts for a banking customer? You have individual customers. In the individual customers, you can break them in 3 to 4 different segments. You have the millennials, you have the women customer, you have people between maybe 30 to 40, 45. Then you have senior citizens. Then you of course have business customers, and then you can say HNI, so on and so forth. If you look at the propensity of a senior citizen, he doesn't want to use app. He wants to visit a branch, spend that 15-20 minutes with the branch staff, chit chat, maybe share something about his family, or discuss something about in general, not anything to do with the banking service. That's where you need a branch, because those cohort of the customers would still need a physical visit, a touch, right? So I think it's very, very important to understand that both digital and physical branches is going to coexist, depending upon the product. Some of the product will be end to end. Now, nowadays we get this ad, right? Click on this link, you get a loan in 3 seconds or 30 seconds, or depending upon bank to bank, right? Where you don't need any physical intervention, right? So depending upon the product positioning and which part of the journey the bank would like to move to digital space, that's going to happen. But I think there is still going to be You would never see India without a bank branch. I don't think that's happening anytime soon, no matter where we move from AI to Gen AI, and I heard about a term cognitive AI today. So I think that's not going to happen. At the same time, I think uh, let's understand at the end of the day, whichever bank you are a small finance bank or you are the largest bank in India, you need to have branches, because if customer wants to visit a branch, you cannot have a situation where you operate without a branch. So I think that's how I sum it up for now.
I think very well summarized, and India still needs a phygital model, and it's going to be here for a long time. That is the writing on the wall. Coming to you, Shiv, FedFina has been a very of course the parentage is from Federal Bank, but FedFina is a very agile technology driven NBFC. So what is your experience on the phygital model?
Apart from the points which Mahender covered, something we have done truly phygital is the doorstep gold loans. So when the thought of people are paying the money by credit cards first and getting the gold ornaments to the home via delivery, be it gold coins or the gold ornaments, why can't it be other side? So that's when this doorstep gold loan has got introduced, concept at an industry level, and that's where we also picked up. And with this, it's best of both the worlds. The reason is customers need not travel during their working hours, and banks on the other side, banks or the NBFCs on the other side can improve their reach. Earlier, there were many provisions, many regulations, so that you have rules and regulations. You couldn't give the gold loan within 30-kilometer radius of the branch. But now those gets erased with the doorstep gold loan. Many rules gets broken, whereas customers gets it on their convenient time immediately with banking systems clearly plugged in. And since gold is a physical ornament which is involved, it can never become digital for these loans, and so the phygital model is definitely exists in the banks.
I think gold loan is a great example of the phygital model, because you really need to verify the jewelry and take possession of the jewelry. I think it's a great example to discuss on this forum. Now, coming to Vivek, I'm slightly going to change this question, because in the last panel, there was a discussion about collection of data, customer personally identifiable data, collection of it, storage and usage of this data, and RBI has been giving a lot of regulation around this. Now, when we are talking about collaboration, for traditional banks, RBI has given a very clear-cut regulations, whereas fintechs are quite loosely regulated at this point of time. So would like to know from you, when they collaborate together, how do you, marry these two different worlds and collaborate together and use data? No, I'm just saying that RBI regulations are, stricter for a traditional bank when compared to a fintech. And when you're collaborating together, the approach to data security is very different between both the partners.
Exactly, but see, we don't have any choice. We have to go according to the regulatory body, and whatever the RBI is saying, we have to go according to that directives. We don't have any other option, because compliance hai to dhanda hai. Otherwise, if you lose the licenses going against RBI, we can't do the business. So that's a very clear direction from management board that compliance is the first. It's about all your operations, IT, whatever. So what we actually do as a bank, we work under the guidelines, and RBI has some guidelines, but it's not restricting us to work with and collaborating with the fintechs or any other technology partner. Yes, some restrictions are there, like which data we can share, which data we cannot share. And as an organization, we have a very critical definition, which is our mission critical applications, which is related to our customers' data. That should not go out, that should not on the cloud. And that part has been very well taken care of. Because of that, sometimes it hampers the innovation, because once you start a boundary, create a wall against your side to protect you, then it's difficult for you also to go beyond that wall. So that, of course, creates some problems and some delay in the processes. But from here and there, you can find some solutions how to follow the guidelines as well as to do the innovations. It will take some time. If some project is going to complete in 3 months, it can take sometimes 6 months or 1 year because of the guideline. But it's the betterment of a customer data. At the end of the day, we as a bank, we are a custodian of a customer data. So for us, it's more important to take care of our data. It should not at any cost. Either we lose some business, it's okay for us, but it should not be go in a wrong hand.
No, I agree. Data security is priority number one, and then we have to optimize product innovation within this framework. Completely agree with you. I think we just are on time to take some closing remarks from each of the panelists, and I would like to know what is your expectation in terms of collaboration and innovation over the next 5 to 10 years in this space of data leveraged AI ML. We'll start with you, Mahender.
Honestly, I can't tell 5 to 10 years. I think it's too far off. I think the way I see the landscape evolving, right? I think all of us in the room knows, pretty much everyone comes from banking BFSI segment, right? That RBI has been on front foot in terms of action, in terms of a lot of changes that's happening. I think there is very clear collaboration between fintech and banks. I think the collaboration, we will see a lot more use cases coming out. I think it was more about fintech taking care of the tech part while bank will take care of the banking part. I think this was just the tip of the iceberg or at a surface level. I think the engagements are going to be more and more deeper. In all honesty, I think what is, at least I have observed in the industry, because of the way fintechs, as we all know, they are agile, they are quick, they are speed to market. I think it has also put pressure on the IT side of the bank. And you can check news in the last 3 to 6 months. Banks are on a hiring spree in their IT department for a variety of reasons.
Yeah,
and this is one of them, right? So I think banks have also understand that, boss, we need to make sure that we strengthen our IT system, ecosystem, so on and so forth, right? I think one of the point which, my co-panelist rightly pointed out, I think even today, while we are in 2024 and we talk about AI from good, morning till night, I think if you look at any of the legacy organization, the data is still in silos, right? Because banks have onboarded systems 30 years back, 20 years back, 15 years back, which probably they don't talk to each other. Then you have to buy another software which can talk to these systems and then help you with data. I think what's going to happen is this whole monolithic architecture is going to shift to an architecture where banks will have one view, or some of them call it customer 360. And I think once we reach that stage, that bank is able to really, really leverage the data and monetize that data, I think this collaboration will really, really help. So I think the future, according to me, is more and more collaboration, more and more use cases, banks starting to get more and more agile and beef up their IT architecture. I think many silos are going to get broken. I hope it happens, the sooner the better for the customer. And I think what is really I have seen across is that there are two ways things used to happen, right? One is you implement a technology and you force fit the customer. I think people have realized you put the customer at the center and then work backwards, which is the right technology to implement, to give a better customer experience, to give, whatever you want to give. So I think it's work in progress, and there is no doubt AI, Gen AI, or whatever you want to call ML and so on and so forth. I think it's only going to improve. I think we are at the very beginning of this curve. I would not even say we are yet to mature that technology space. So I think it's only going to get better and better as we move forward. And I'm excited and I'm looking forward to it.
Same here. Customer-centric technology is what we need today. Shiv, your thoughts?
What's 5-10 years? What I see, at least what has happened in the last 5-10 years, people's patience has come down. People wanted to do things faster and glow or brighten their lives and professions quicker. So the same is happening with the collaborations in a way. Collaboration between the traditional banks and fintechs is like a conversation between a father and a son at a home, is what I feel, where two people are driven by one by energy and another by experience. Now, what's pumping in today is the experience is also getting energized, and energy is also learning the experience quickly. With these, the blend, I feel a lot of things will happen, and somewhere collaboration in terms, it really scares me also. I want to give an example. This has actually happened to me. It was Ekadasi, next day was Ekadasi, and my mom was telling that tomorrow is Ekadasi, you need to, we can fast and all that stuff. And in half an hour, I received a message saying that tomorrow is Ekadasi, why don't you donate a meal, kind of stuff. I was like, oh man, now the voice is turning into the command. So that brings me into a place which I want to tell what has happened to the typewriters will happen to the keyboards today. And you would be left with voice, and your voice is going to be command, which is being powered by a lot of data analytics tool in the back. And it just doesn't give the reporting back, it gives the action-oriented inferences in your life.
Thank you, Shiv. What an interesting anecdote on AI. Vivek, your closing remarks.
Yeah, so it's tough to predict next 5-10 years. Of course, for next 2 years, AI will be the key technology for overall the globe, and it's high time to understand that as a business company, we should have to go hands in hands with the fintech company, and let we take care of our business and let them take care of the technology part.
Thank you, and I think it was a very learning experience for me. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and that's our time.